Well, here we are, Coach Prime, season 4. I'm not sure what is going to happen this season, but amen to him getting those college coaches in there, doing that high school recruiting, getting those commits early. I love everything I'm seeing Colorado do. I just hope it transitions onto the field, onto winning football games, because after last year, I don't want to say it can't get any worse, but in a lot of ways, it can't get any worse. But this is a new year. I get an opportunity to have a season prediction, give my thoughts, and express how I'm feeling about every single game that is on Colorado's schedule at this point. However, this year I decided to do something a little bit different. Instead of me just going through and saying win, I thought it would be kind of cool to put this into categories. And because I want Coach Prime to build a program, I am calling these program categories. And so what I have done, each game that is on Colorado's schedule, I have identified it and I have classified it into one of my categories. And that is how I'm going to talk about each game. However, if you want my standard record prediction, my prediction for Colorado this season is going to be 6-6, and I think 6-6 is going to be a success if they can get there. If they get to 7-5, if they get to 8-4, kudos to them. My expectations, though, and the way I'm going to treat this football team is that they are a 6-6 football team that is going to double their win total from last year. That means they are going to beat some teams that people don't think that they should beat, and that is exactly where Coach Prime wants to be. And that actually works for me. You have a new OC, new DC, lots of new players. You have a returning quarterback. He's young, but this is going to be his first full year. And I like that. I like a 6-6. If they get to 7-5, even better. But right now, my prediction is 6-6, heading to a bowl game and winning that bowl game. But you're not here just to hear me talk about my prediction. Let me talk about some of these games and all the different things I'm thinking about when it comes to this schedule. Well, hello there. If you're seeing this, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to double check and make sure that you have subscribed to my channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. And if you think about it, turn on those notification bells so you never miss a single video. Before I start this, I need to say I am making a conscious decision to act like Colorado is going to be able to stop the run and not even just be the best at stopping the run. So if I can lean in this with the expectation that they are going to be able to stop the run, that makes me talking about this schedule a lot better. So my program builder scale goes like this. There's going to be expectation games. Expectations are going to be the games that I just expect them to win. There's going to be momentum games. Those momentum games are going to be the games that they're going to need to get some momentum and beat those teams. And then we're going to have those respect games, the games where they can earn respect and make me think better of them or less of them, depending on what they do in those football games. And then the fourth category is going to be the measuring stick, the games that nobody is going to expect Colorado to win. But if they win those games, or if they're competitive in those games, or if things happen within those games, it is going to mean something for the season. Now that you know those 4 categories, let's go through them and see what I'm thinking about some of these games. In the expectation games, the games I expect them to win, we're going with Weber State. Well, because it's Weber State, no disrespect to them. I'm going to go with Northwestern. I will say this about Northwestern. They are returning some players. However, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know who Northwestern is and all of their ins and outs. One thing I do know about Northwestern is they do play teams tough. And whenever you play teams tough and you have to grind things out, game management's going to matter, situational awareness is going to matter. That being so early in the season, that is something I'm thinking about. I do still expect Colorado to find a way to win that football game, so they're on my expectations list. The last 2 teams on my expectation list are going to be Kansas State and Cincinnati. Kansas State lost their head coach, their OC, their DC. Like, a lot of the things that they're doing right now is just what it is. Usually they are really strong at offensive line and defensive line. I'm just not seeing it right now. So I'm going to expect Colorado to be able to finally beat Kansas State. So that's one of them. And then my 4th team is going to be Cincinnati. Cincinnati makes this a little bit interesting, but the truth of the matter is if I think Colorado is going to win 6 games, I need to have at least 4 teams in my expectation box. So I expect Colorado to beat Cincinnati. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what they have to do. I expect Colorado to take care of Cincinnati. The next on my list is going to be momentum games. I have Baylor and I have Houston. Baylor is on this list because this could potentially be a trap game. After Colorado plays Baylor, they actually play Texas Tech, and we all know that's going to be a big game. So I need Colorado to be able to lock in and stay focused and play against Baylor. Now, Baylor's going to have lagway, so I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't really trust Baylor a lot either, but for Colorado to win against Baylor and get that momentum heading in to play Texas Tech, I think that is going to be very important. The next team in the momentum is going to be Houston for a lot of reasons. I think Houston might end up being a good football team. The other thing that I know about Houston is they're returning a lot of players. Why I decided to put this as a momentum game has everything to do with where it's at in the schedule. When Colorado plays Houston, it will be their 5th consecutive football game, 5th consecutive weekend. That matters to me. Colorado has a history of not being able to stay healthy. I'm not going to act like that doesn't exist. And because that exists, I have to talk about it here. And let's be real here. A lot of people expect Houston to be good this season. So for Colorado to beat them, that's naturally going to be a big momentum swing. But for Colorado to beat them where they're at in the schedule is going to be an even bigger momentum swing. And I want to see it. Respect games. The first game is going to be Utah. Utah is interesting for me. Yes, they lost their head coach, but the foundation of what they do is offensive line, defensive line, run the football, run the football, run the football. Colorado couldn't stop the run last year if their season depended on it. So for Colorado to be able to beat Utah, they're going to have to stop the run and they're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback. If they're able to do that, they're going to earn my respect because last season they couldn't do it and it was embarrassing. So this season, beating Utah is going to be all about respect and showing me that this team is ready to do more than I think they are at this current moment. And then I have Oklahoma State. Hear me out for a second. One of the reasons Oklahoma State is here is because they are bringing in a new coach, a quarterback that has a great offensive system. What that usually means, if it translates to the Power Four, is going to mean they're going to be able to score points. And so if they are a team that can score a lot of points, that is going to mean that Colorado's defense is going to be tested. And so for me, if you're playing against a team that's going to score a lot of points, your job is to obviously to match them with points and also stop them at some point. I love that. I actually think Oklahoma State could be a sleeper of the Big 12. I'm not willing to go too far with that yet, but that's just something that I'm thinking about. So Colorado beating Oklahoma State is going to be a respect game, and playing at Oklahoma State is brutal, especially if they're winning, especially if it's a night game. So that is something that will earn my respect, is if Colorado can beat Oklahoma State. And then last on this list is going to be Arizona State. Now, do I think Arizona State is going to be a good football team? I don't really know. But do I trust Dillingham to get his team ready to go? Absolutely. He is a great coach, and he has proved that. I wish Colorado played them earlier in the season so that he didn't have time to figure out this new team, but they don't. It is where it is. And so, again, another well-coached team. They should be ready to play. I expect Arizona to just do all the I expect Arizona State to be a balanced football team and just do all the little things right. So for Colorado to beat Arizona State, that is going to also earn my respect. And I just like seeing good coached football teams as the season goes on. So Arizona State is another team that's going to be interesting for me. All right, if you're keeping track, that leaves the measuring stick games. That is going to be Texas Tech, obviously, because they are the reigning defending Big 12 champions. I don't care what all they have going on with Sorsby. I don't even care if Sorsby plays. That team, the way they are built to win the Big 12, and that is going to matter to me. And so for Colorado to be a team that people have to be worried about or concerned about, what they look like against Texas Tech is going to matter, and I'm going to be paying close attention. Speaking of a Tech team, Georgia Tech is also on this list because it's the first game of the season. Do I want Colorado to win the game? Absolutely. If they don't win the game, does that mean their season is over? Well, absolutely not. It is the first game of the season. But I want to see what they look like. I want to see what they look like against Georgia Tech. I want to see how they make adjustments against Georgia Tech. I want to see if they have learned how to manage the clock against Georgia Tech. I want to see if they've learned how to turn turnovers into points. I want to see if they can tackle. I want to see if they can keep up. I just want to see if they are ready to play. And Georgia Tech is going to be a great measuring stick for me to kind of see. I'm not trying to be funny here, but I also have the bye week. I have the bye week as a measuring stick because if you are a Colorado fan, you know historically out of a bye week, we don't win the game. So I need Colorado to focus on this bye week to get people healthy, to get replenished, and I want to feel good coming out of the bye week. So the bye week is also a measuring stick because it has to be for Colorado. Until they win out of a bye week, it will continue to be a measuring stick for me. And then the final game is UCF. The final game on this list, the final game of the season is UCF. The reason why I have it here is because this game could matter depending on where Colorado is at. If they are 5-6, this game is going to matter. If they are 11-0, this game is going to matter. This UCF game is just going to matter based on where it's at in the schedule, and it's going to be a measuring stick. It is either going to be a measuring stick for me to figure out what the season is going to look like. It's going to be a measuring stick to figure out what they might look like in the playoffs. It's going to be a measuring stick to see what they might look like in a Big 12 championship game. No matter how you look at it, this game, this last game on the schedule, could mean a lot of things depending on how the season has gone. So it is going to be in my measuring stick category, and that is going to be all the teams, all the different things. I've added a couple of little things here and there so that you can understand exactly how I'm thinking about this, why I have certain teams where I have them. But at the end of the day, they have to play the game. Colorado has to be ready to go. Colorado has to stop the run. Colorado has to look like a team that is learning and growing and getting better, and that is what I want to see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if you would change any of these categories. If I think about it, I will remember to put the categories in the comment section so that each of you can decide what you want to do. But hey, let me know what you think. As always, I will see you in my next video.